Hey everyone, Cindy here. Hope you are all having a wonderful Tuesday. I am live with you guys today, talking about trust and emotional triggers that come up. I'm sorry I was a couple minutes late. I was trying to get live on my computer, and for some reason I was having a little glitch. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I will figure it out later. So anyways, just to jump right into our topic at hand, because it's a big one, self-trust, trust in relationships, emotional triggers, right? These things come up all the time when it comes to dating and relationships. Just going to add something really quick. Okay. So this is number one, a really hot topic. Hi, Fiona. And I wanted to just jump right into it. So when it comes to dating, maybe you are in maybe you're dating someone, or you're in the throes of getting to know a prospective partner. And, you go out on a date, he drops you off, you come home, you're on cloud nine because you've had just a wonderful time. And what happens next? Well, maybe you start to settle in, and you start to question. You start to question him. You start to question his motives. You start to question yourself, right? Do I really want a relationship? Is he really being honest? Is he might be a little short. He cut me off a couple times when we were talking. Is he, what are his intentions? So we start to, we can oftentimes get triggered emotionally by just those very things that come up for us when it comes to dating and mating and relating even. And I see this all the time with my clients. So this is something that I wanted to discuss today. I was talking to someone earlier about, decision making and how to trust yourself within that process. I have a friend that, recently made a really big stand and a really big decision, and she was excited at first, and then made herself so sick she went to the bathroom to throw up, because there was all this fear holding her back, right? Have you ever really wanted something, and when it comes to fruition, there's a part of you that's waiting for the other shoe to drop, because possibly you haven't had the abundant life that you really, really desire in all areas. Edith, it looks like you're on. I don't know if you can see me, but hopefully you can. At any rate, if you're just tuning in, this is Cindy Olin with Create Your Own Luck and Love, and we're talking about trusting yourself and knowing who you are when it comes to relationships. And a lot of that, a lot of times what I see people do, and I see this with men and women alike, that they'll, they don't know what to do. So they'll start to question themselves, and they want to show up as this perfect version of themselves. And, really just a news flash, you guys, nobody's perfect. And if you're trying to be the perfect person or the woman that you think that you should be for a man or for anyone, right? We go into those people pleasing tendencies, especially as women, because we want to be like, we're really nurturing by nature, almost to a fault. So being that, being a nurturing person by nature, we can fall into that people pleasing mode, meaning that we will do things to have somebody like us. We might cook for them or bake them cakes or cookies or pies or whatever. And that in and of itself can, that's the overgiving that can start to occur, which is it's a non-balance of relationships. So let me explain that to you guys just a little bit further. When we're not trusting ourselves, men, and if men are on here, it's the same way. It goes the same for both sexes. People don't trust us. So if you can't trust yourself with your choices and relationships, even if it's subconscious, and this is really hard to break on your own, what I recommend is really being present with yourself in those moments. And I don't actually know what to tell you, Edith. I can see your posts. I just I don't know how to. I hope everybody else can hear me. So hey, Sandy, Susan, hi. So you guys feel free to post below if you have any questions here, because I'm here to give you answers. I'm here to give you perspective, feedback. And believe me, I have been there so many times where I just didn't trust myself. And it was because I wasn't really fully being authentic, or I wasn't really communicating my wants, needs, or desires, because I was afraid. And I was afraid to speak up because I thought, if I speak up, somebody may not want me. They may not want me anymore, right? So that doesn't really get you what you really want when it comes to relationships. So understanding that piece and knowing why we get triggered emotionally. So this is a really big deal. So oftentimes we can come from, I can tell you that, that's something I'm really good at working with my clients on, because frankly, I grew up in a setting where I had parents that loved me, but I was to be seen and not heard. And I was told that I wasn't very smart. I was told that I couldn't, I would have to really work hard to get things that I wanted in life. And not that I don't think that you need to work hard. That's a good question, Susan. I'll get back to you in just a second about that. So what those triggers came up for me is I would think, well, maybe I'm not enough, or maybe maybe they don't think I'm smart enough, pretty enough, good enough, right? So those are the things that showed up all over my life. They showed up in my business life. They showed up in my personal life. They showed up everywhere. So it was a direct reflection of my self-worth. So I had to do personal work, which I continue to do, to push through those limiting thoughts and beliefs. So we all run around with limiting thoughts and beliefs. Maybe the love partnership that I really desire isn't out there for me. Maybe it's not going to work for me. Well, why not? So, when someone doesn't trust themselves, they come to the table with proving themselves. So as a woman, she might feel badly and think, oh, a man really wants sex. Yeah, sex is part of it. And she might be trying to use sex to keep or attract a man when that's not what's really going to do it, you guys. How many people have done that? I have. And calling myself out, right? So a good example, Susan just asked, what's a good example of trusting yourself? Well, trusting yourself is also, is really being in tune with who you are, what your values are, and setting boundaries. So a good example of that is if, let's just say you're dating someone and things are going along really nicely and he's trying to have sex with you, which might be natural. And what could transpire is that perhaps you have a boundary that you don't sleep with people unless you're in a committed relationship. And so a good example of trusting yourself is simply saying, gosh, I'm really attracted to you and I really enjoy moving forward. I really enjoy what's happening here, and I'm not comfortable having sex out of not being in a committed relationship, right? And you're not attached. So a lot of times what I've heard, many women, they'll come to me and they'll say, it's so hard for me to say something like that because I think that maybe he thinks I'm trying to pressure him into getting into a relationship. You're not saying that at all. Really what you're saying is, this is what I'm comfortable with, and this is where I'm at. When you start to notice those things come up in your head, like, oh gosh, I don't know if he's going to like me, if he really gets to know me, or, what we focus on becomes our reality, right? Or if we ended a relationship and he continues reaching out and he's sad or, whatever. The thing is that any time we enter into any relationship, we take the chance of getting, things not working out perhaps the way that we had hoped, right? And that's a chance. It's not up to you to take care of somebody else's feelings. So really being in tune with love, with who you are. And when those thoughts come up, because they come up for everyone. I get scary thoughts at times, and I know what they are. So I'm really good at working them through. I know it's the ego. I know that's trying to keep me in a smaller place. And it could be with anything. We can convince ourselves, we can tell ourselves stories, which will manifest the very outcome that we fear, right? So there's this guy that I know. His name's Bezos, and he's a coach for personal trainers and people with athletic businesses. Super generous, amazing man. And he spoke at one of my masterminds last year. And he told this really amazing story. And it was a story that I shared with someone earlier today. And this just really resonates with what I'm talking about here today on Facebook Live. So again, you guys, feel free to post any of your questions. If you're just joining, it's Cindy Olin with Create Your Own Luck and Love, and we're talking about trust and self-trust. And please feel free to hop in here if you have any questions, if you want some feedback about something. That's what I'm here for, and that's what these Facebook Lives are for. Okay, so he was on a vacation, I think maybe in the Caribbean or something, with his family, and he's walking along a sea line, a harbor, right, with with the ocean, and this gentleman's on the side, and he was catching crabs, and he would catch a crab or two and put them in this bucket. And he was observing this man with his crabs, and he didn't have the bucket covered. And a lot of the crabs were actually getting up to the top and almost escaping. And he goes, "Hey, man, you're going to lose your crabs because you don't have a cover on your bucket." And he goes, "Oh, no." The man kind of sounded like a Jamaican man. "Oh, no, man. No, none of the crabs will ever escape. They never have." And Bezos was like, "What? Really?" And he goes, No, the crabs don't escape." He goes, "Why not?" And he said, "Well, what happens is when one of the crabs is climbing to the top, most of the time they don't even get to the edge. Even if they do get to the edge, then there's other crabs on the bottom pulling them back down." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, I've got crabs in my life. People that are trying to keep me stuck and small." And that could even be your mindset too. Who are the crabs in your life? Who are the ones that are like, you may not actually meet someone until your daughter goes to college. That might be the right thing to do, Susan. Or you need to do this first before you bring in the type of relationship that you want. It's all interconnected. Oh, good, Edith. I'm really happy you got on. So, so think about, who are the crabs in your lives? Who are the people, places, and things that keep you down and keep you stuck in that thinking? Because that feeling of not trusting oneself can really escalate into behaviors that are examples of not trusting oneself, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard of people cheating on their spouses, on their partners, whatnot, because of a self-sabotage, right? And instead of just trying to get to the finish line, right, which may be getting in that loving, committed relationship, what about enjoying the journey and staying really present within it and doing the things for you that make you happy? When you start to come up with judgment, which is, when people judge a lot, it's because one is judging oneself. And if you're judging the outer world, you're judging the inner world. So what can you do to shift that? Shifting mindset can absolutely change, and focusing on love, focusing on what you really do want, and being cognizant of, is this, and staying in tune. Am I just seeing what I want to see because I really want to be in a relationship? And, am I doing more than this person, than the person I'm dating is? If you're a woman, a man should always work a little harder for you than you work for them. Now, not everybody agrees with me on this. I do, because one of the things that I know about men is they seek to overcome and achieve. And they want to see the woman that they pick to get into a loving long-term partnership with as the prize. And, you know, any of you guys out there, if you're dating, if you haven't dated for a long time and you have a goal, you know, maybe you're 39 and you haven't ever really had a healthy, loving partnership. There's a reason for that. And I have a dear friend and woman that was a former client of mine that worked with me. I helped her bring in her man. I was in her wedding this last weekend, and she's 41. She's never been married. And she had to, when she met the guy, they both knew very early on. However, it took them a lot of stuff that they went through together to get that to that point of saying, I do. So if you guys are in a place where you're confused, you're seeking, congratulations for being on here, because seriously, this is super important to be learning about this area of your life, be learning about what you want, learning how to trust yourself. And that, that's like, it comes from, it's kind of like children, right? As a baby, we're a baby and we're totally dependent on someone else. As we learn to grow and trust ourselves, there's different levels that occur. So understanding these pieces, you guys, and really getting clear on, okay, so this is, do I have patterns in my relationships? Do I have patterns in my life? And a lot of times that can be really hard to see on one's own. I see patterns with clients that I work with. And part of the reason why they hire me is so I can help them with that. I can help them with their consistency and help them to show up for themselves the way that they really desire. So you guys, if you have any questions, comments, please post below. If if this is resonating with you, or you have something in your love life that is happening and you don't know why, or you meet men and, you're not attracted to them, or the ones that you really like don't seem to want to commit. You guys, I'm going to post a link below and book a free love call with me. Because what that will do is at least help you with some direction in this area of your life and give you some feedback and see if I can help you on a deeper level. And moving forward, you can really achieve your goals. I think a lot of times when it comes to life and love, a lot of people aren't willing to commit to what it takes to get into the type of relationship they want. My friend that I just talked to you about has done a ton of personal development work and continued to do that in her relationship to release the triggers that came up within that partnership and learn him as well as he learned her. And for the first time in her life, she really allowed herself to be seen and really love with all her heart? Have you done that? What do you want? So you guys, let me see. If there's anyone else that has questions, please feel free to let me know. And I hope this was helpful. Post below, let me know your biggest takeaway. And I'm sending everyone a lot of love and just a wonderful rest of your day. And here's to you and really creating your own luck and love. Okay, bye everyone.